Hello, sports fans. It is I, Nomah, back with another riveting episode of Card Geeks with my man Hoosier. How are you today, Hoosier?
I am fantastic, buddy. I'm ready to get into this episode because I absolutely love Chrome, and I know that you do, and a lot of fellow collectors do. So super excited.
I'm excited too. And if you're new to the channel, thank you so much for joining us. Hoosier and I both have our own channels, Hoosier Pulls and Nomah Sports Cards. So make sure to check those out. Make sure to subscribe to the Card Geeks channel and hit us with a like if you like the content, which hopefully you will. We have some exciting news about Hoosier, but we're going to do it at the end so that we can dive right in to this video. So let's talk about 2025 Topps Chrome. What do you know about release date? Ooh, it just popped right on
Here we
there.
go.
I
Well,
spoke it
I'm
into
ready.
existence. July 23rd, which is very soon. It's just a few weeks away. See my boy, friend of the channel, Corbin Carroll, front and center with the Fanatical
Yep.
parallel. We've got our boys, James Wood and Jacob Wilson, who are both crushing right now. This is an exciting product.
hmm
So tell us, before we get into our analysis of our own personal opinions and like how we're going to approach this, let's just do the facts and let's just hit the viewers with what they can expect. And if you're listening on a podcast rather than viewing, we've got some amazing cards up on the screen, and we're going to talk all about these inserts, parallels, everything else.
Yeah. So, like you said, 2025 Topps Chrome. If you're especially new to collecting, it's basically a collaboration of what we've seen in Series 1 and Series 2 of the flagship paper product. So we're getting a lot of the rookies that we saw through Series 1 and Series 2 in one set, which is really nice. We're actually getting Matt Shaw and Christian Campbell in
Woo!
the base rookie checklist. So that's pretty cool. They decided to withhold Cam Smith to probably juice 2025 update, Chrome
Yeah.
update, which, totally get. But we have a total of 300 cards in the base set, and that's going to consist of 100 rookies and 50 image variations, and then 10 super short print image variations. So some of the highlights that I picked out from doing research on this product, the MVP buybacks are returning this year. So whoever ends up winning MVP of the American League and the National League, their base cards and parallels can be turned in for in-store credit at your local hobby store. So don't get rid of any of your base cards from 2025 Topps Chrome. Yep.
And this
There.
reminds me, I'm pretty sure we have only a couple weeks left to redeem the ones from last year, right?
Mhm.
Because once this hits, we can't redeem them anymore. Is that true?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I think you can look up on Topps website. They have the deadlines for the previous years,
Okay.
but it's
I'm sitting on a stack and I've got to get mine in, and you guys probably want to get yours in as well.
definitely.
Also, if you are new to collecting and you're not sure what we're talking about, what happens with Topps Chrome is whoever wins the MVP from each league next year, they're going to be worth $20 credit with Topps. So you're going to want to hang on to those. As soon as they get named the MVP, they're worth a nice little chunk of change credit toward your next purchase.
Definitely. And that's something that I like to use too for buying future boxes, or you can use it for singles at your local hobby store. So it's a pretty cool buyback program, in my opinion. I really like it.
Yeah, I agree. And what I'll sometimes do is just hang on to one or two of the cards because they become more rare because people turn them in.
Right.
So there's something to be said for hanging on to them. But then some of them get autographed and or stamped and they end up in next year's product. So it's a pretty cool thing that Fanatics is doing. I really like it. I think the buyback program is cool and fun. And it also makes you speculate a little bit. Well, who do you think is going to win the MVP? And you're going to kind of hoard those
Exactly.
people's cards. And it also makes a card like Cal Raleigh that you would probably overlook.
hmm
Maybe you want to put that aside because he could win the MVP, right? So,
Absolutely.
big dumper, you hit that card normally, you're not like, yeah. But, if Judge gets hurt and or other people don't really keep rocking and rolling, I mean, Judge is the presumptive MVP right now in the
Right.
American League, but Cal Raleigh's having the best year ever of a catcher, and
Right.
you never know if the Mariners can somehow sneak into the playoffs, and if Judge is on the shelf for the last few months of the year, Big Dumper is the MVP. So put aside anyone that could even potentially have a chance.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, hang on to all of those base cards. Now, they are including some very new designs and inserts into the product this year. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into the odds a little later on in the episode, but they have the Shadow Etch, which I don't have images for all of these, but I do have the image for the World Series at night. If you are listening on Spotify, the World Series at night is essentially a map of the city, which looks pretty cool in my opinion, and it has the player kind of etched over it. So we have Shadow Etch, Lightning Leaders, Home Field Advantage is returning, but it's actually going to be a much tougher hit this year. And then the World Series at night. So these are all new except for Home Field Advantage. And I'm pretty excited that they're adding a lot more case hits and, super short print cards to be able to hit, to just make it more fun of a chase, honestly.
Absolutely. And it looks a lot of fun to me. And again, for those of you that are listening on a podcast or are not in front of the YouTube screen, so 300 cards in the set, 100 rookies, which is a very high ratio. One out of every three cards
Mhm.
is a rookie, versus in, what is it, 350 cards each in Series 1 and Series 2. And then how
Yeah,
many cards in Update? A couple hundred cards in
I
Update,
think
right?
so. Yeah, a few hundred
So
at least.
there's a fair number of rookies, but you're not hitting one out of every three as a rookie in the main set. The image variants, having 50 of those are a fun little hit when you can get one. And, make sure, guys, that you're checking the codes in the bottom right hand corner with your
Mhm.
magnifying glass, because you might hit an image variant and you don't know that that's what it is. The SSP variants as well, you might think you got an image variant. You might think it's a short print, but it's a super short print. You touched on all of those parallels. Just for people that can't read on the screen, Shadow Etch is 1 in 481 packs. Lightning Leaders 1 in 960 packs. Home Field Advantage 1 in 1057 packs. So again, it's not a new one,
Right.
but it is much harder to pull now. World Series at night. We've got the Judge on the screen here. It looks amazing. I think it's an awesome looking card. One in nearly 2,000 packs, 1,921 packs. So one of the things for me is that I tend to kind of rip a little bit fast, especially once I've
Mhm.
already ripped a product. And be careful, guys, because you could go past a card. I remember one year when the first year that I ever opened Topps Chrome Sonic, and I got a Uranus of Mike Trout. It's like
Yeah.
crazy, crazy
Yeah.
rare, because the farther you get from the sun in that set, the more rare they are. And I didn't even know. And I posted the video, and people told me in the comments it's like a $800 card. So like
Yeah.
at the time it was anyway. You can easily overlook stuff in this set. So just make sure that you make a stack of all of your cards that don't look like base cards, and just double check on Topps.com, on eBay, whatever. Make sure that you don't have something really super rare.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, there's a lot of new stuff coming out. And there's new inserts as well that are pretty common. So it's gonna take a little bit to get used to, all of these new cards and being able to determine, what is what. So
For sure. Yeah, and that's good. I mean, it means that they're keeping the product evergreen, and they're keeping us on our toes, and they're making us pay attention, which is their job
right,
as a
exactly.
company, and our job as consumers is to try to keep up with it. But I like that they're adding stuff and making it fresh and making it new. I don't want just the same old Chrome, so this is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Now we're gonna go ahead and move into price, which is pretty interesting. This went up on pre-sale last week. I believe it was June 23rd was the pre-sale date, and these pre-sale boxes were available for a very long time. I think it took like 5 or 6 days for the hobby boxes to sell out.
Hmm.
And I don't know if the value boxes are still available, but those were available the last time I checked.
Wow, that's crazy for just retail price.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we have Hobby at $200, and now this is pre-sale, so it's always a little bit cheaper, but you can expect around the same price, probably give or take $20 on release day. So Hobby was $200, Jumbo was $400, Blasters are 40, and Megas are 65.
Now, let me ask you a question about this because one of the changes that's been made, those of us that have been in the hobby for a while know this, but those of you new to the hobby might not. After Fanatics bought Tops, they
Mhm.
changed this because it used to be 3 autographs in a hobby box and 5 in a
And
jumbo
the
box.
Jumbo,
Or no, it was 2. I'm sorry.
two.
2 in a hobby box, 5 in a jumbo. Now it's 1 in a hobby box, 3 in a jumbo. Ostensibly, the autographs are better. So they're trying to like not have this junk chrome autos, but a lot of them are not good. So
Right.
in a way, I'm kind of like, well, if you still are going to put junk in there, but just not as much, like my back of the envelope figuring is it's about as easy to hit a really big card as it was before they made this change. But I'm sort of like, I'm curious to get your take on this. For me, a lot of the fun of a jumbo was 5 autographs. Like that's a
Yeah.
lot of autographs.
Yeah.
What do you think about this change that they made?
I mean, ultimately, I think it's about profits. There, and someone brought up something interesting. They were like, when Fanatics took over, we've seen Chrome style NBA of like Select and Prism, right? Those hobby boxes with 2 autographs per box are starting out at $800. Is Fanatics attempting to kind of move the stakes with the more premium Chrome baseball products? I don't know. I don't think that they are. I don't think that the baseball uh, buying community would ever stand for an $800 box of, a jumbo box of Topps Chrome, but I can definitely see where they're trying to maximize profit margins,
Yeah,
as much as possible.
yeah,
And Stryker says this a lot. Stryker Breaks is someone we both really enjoy and look up to in the hobby. He says that you're essentially paying for the autograph, right?
right.
So you're essentially paying $200 for a Chrome autograph. And like you said, the autograph checklist of just base autographs isn't fantastic, specifically in this release because the rookie
Hmm.
class is still really weak.
Yep,
There's some amazing vet autos, there's dual autographs, but those are very, very difficult to hit. So
absolutely.
you kind of have to ask yourself, am I okay with paying $200 to probably get a subpar autograph? And ultimately, I went with just the hobby box um,
Mhm.
because I just didn't really want to pay 400 for a jumbo, especially with the 3 autographs as opposed to it used to be being 5. I just
Yep.
don't see the value there. But overall, the odds for jumbo are much better than everything else.
I'm in the exact same boat. I got a hobby box, and I
Mhm.
kind of wish I'd gotten a jumbo box, but we have just started a new business,
Yeah,
and we're able to still afford cards, but I didn't want to spend $400 on
right,
something that
right.
might result in 3 dud autographs. And I'm a numbers guy, and so actually with the change from 5 to 3 and from 2 to 1,
Hmm.
it's more appealing to buy a jumbo box than it was because if I could spend back then the same amount for 2 hobby boxes and get 4 versus a jumbo box and get 5, it's +1, but
Right.
it's 4 versus 5. So it's really only a 25% bump in
Hmm.
value. Whereas with this format, you're still only getting 1 more if you buy a jumbo versus 2 hobbies,
Right.
but it's 2 versus 3. So it's actually like a 50% bump. So it makes way more fiscal sense to go ahead and buy a jumbo if you can afford it. I
Right.
just didn't, I mean, you mentioned at the top that like we both love Chrome, and like
Mhm.
I would actually say I used to love Chrome. I've kind of gotten a little turned off on Topps Chrome the last couple of years just because I haven't been hitting good stuff, and it's so bloody expensive. And I understand
Right.
that it costs more to make a chromium card. But the crazy thing is that a lot of times, like a base rookie card is worth more out of Topps than it is out of Topps Chrome, which doesn't make sense to me given that Topps
Right.
Chrome is more expensive.
Right.
So I don't know. Part of me wishes I had just kind of swallowed hard and gotten a jumbo box, but I think they've made it hard. Like with $400 for three,
Yeah.
I can't quite get there.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it's we say this all the time. We're both regular working guys.
Hmm.
I've been in school full time for the past 3 years almost. You know, I'm not a financially wealthy person. I'm financially conscious. I feel that I'm good at managing my money. But I agree. I don't want to spend $400 on a Chrome jumbo box.
No.
And especially with my channel, I feel that I open a lot of things that just the regular collectors enjoy to open and want to
Yep.
see. Not saying that a Chrome jumbo box is way out there, but I feel like most people pick up a hobby box, if they can, or they pick up retail. Now, for Chrome retail, I absolutely hate it. I hate Chrome retail, and I will tell you that every year that I've opened Chrome retail, it has been completely abysmal. And I refuse to pay $65 for a mega box they have the X fractors, which are cool, but in my opinion, it doesn't make up for the price tag. When two mega boxes plus tax, you're getting close to the price of a hobby box. I would much
Yep.
rather open a hobby box than 2 or 3 megas. So that's
I
kind of
couldn't agree more.
that's my position on it.
No, you and I are totally aligned on that. And I did order some retail, but that's mostly because I feel a community service
Definitely.
obligation to my watchers. And
Hmm.
look, I love baseball cards. That's why I started a channel, and that's
Right.
why we started this show. Is that I love baseball cards. I love opening them, looking at them, talking about them, trading them, giving them away. I love everything about it. There's no, baseball cards are like pizza. There's, it's just a scale of how good it is. There's no
Right.
like bad pizza.
Right.
There's no bad baseball cards. But I actually am looking at just yesterday. I ripped this on my channel. The video
Hmm.
hasn't posted yet, but I'll just put it to you this way: if you haven't watched this video yet, I got some very good cards in the video, but they did not come out of this box. So like the video is worth watching, but like, this is Series 2 flagship, but I'm not optimistic at all about the super boxes or the blaster boxes of Topps Chrome this year.
Right.
I did get an autograph out of Topps Chrome. I don't remember if it was last year or the year before. I was on
Hmm.
Cape Cod with my cousin when this came out, and I went to Cape Cod Card Shark. Shout out to Krista. And I got a Hayden Danner, if I remember correctly, Hagen
Hmm.
Danner, whatever his name is. He's on the Mariners now, but anyway, he was on the Blue Jays at the time, and an auto and rookie auto is cool out of a blaster, but I mean, I feel kind of bad because I feel like both in our conversations and on my channel, I've been a little bit negative lately, and I don't mean
Right.
to be. It's not
Right.
that I'm down on cards or down on the hobby or down on anything. It's just that this year's draft class is not good.
Hmm.
And if you can find, like, for example, 2023 Big League, you can get it on David Adams for $30 a box.
Right.
So, like, less than the cost of a blaster at Target or Walmart. Those boxes have an autograph in every two boxes.
Hmm.
So if you go spend $300 on 10, odds are you will get five autographs.
Yeah.
And, you've got some decent rookies in that 23 class. So
Right.
the point is that like, if you just want to have fun ripping and or you want to try to get a good hit, and or you're trying to like build a set, like don't overlook some of the older heritage products, some of the
Definitely.
older big league products, even some of the older flagship products like 2024 Topps Series 2 is going for way less than 2025 Top Series 2. And in my opinion, it's better.
Yeah.
2023 Top Series 2, which granted doesn't have any short prints on it, but I was looking on David Adams the other day, $175 for a jumbo box where you're
Yeah.
guaranteed 3 hits. And I'm kind of like, what are we doing? Like, I
Yeah.
would, I would, I would almost rather have that than this Topps Chrome hobby box. And it's just because of the rookie class. And
Right.
it's because Topps arguably isn't putting as much value. Now, having said that, I also opened a Fanatics blaster yesterday, and a lot of you have seen this video, where I got this. I got this crazy redemption for
That is
a
nasty.
Nando signed jersey, which is insane. And I pulled it, and I was a little embarrassed, but being human is embarrassing sometimes. I was on this rant about like, a couple years ago, Topps Fanatics blasters were great, and now they're terrible. And then I pulled that. So Fanatics is doing a good job, and if we rewind this video 20 minutes, we see all of the amazing new inserts they put in, and you and I might
Yeah.
pull some absolute fire out of this. So like, we're not saying don't buy it. We're just saying like there's other options and there's value out there, and there's Steel City and Cards HQ and DA Card World and
Mhm.
Blowout. They're all sitting on warehouses full of product that there's just not a lot of demand for.
Right.
There's value there.
Right. Definitely. Yeah,
So
I totally agree. And like you said, I just try to, I guess, cautiously and realistically inform everybody about the pros and cons of this product, especially with something like this, because I mean, $400, that's not, anything to kind of scoff at,
no.
especially in today's day and age. I mean, that's like that's a lot of money, that's groceries, everything's expensive,
Yep.
nowadays. So being able to get the value for your hard-earned money is, something that we really try to push. But yeah, like you said,
Yeah.
not trying to be too negative or anything like that. Which brings us to a positive aspect. I pulled some of my favorite designs that have been revealed so far, and this is something that makes me very excited
Yep.
about this product. We have the Radiating Rookies, which is probably my favorite insert for Topps Chrome. I actually just picked this one up here. This is the Shota Imanaga Radiating Rookies. These are
Nice.
absolutely sick. I love the design. The Jacob Wilson up there in the black and green is so sick.
It looks so good.
And then we have the All Etch Rookie Rush, which is kind of a throwback design. It's looks vintage. It looks, very 70s. I love it. I think it looks great. And then of course we have the Ultraviolet All Stars, and those are going to be autographed as well this year. As you can see with the Otani on the left, that is the
Yep.
Superfractor. So that's like kind of focused on another kind of retro, groovy looking
Yep.
sketch card. It kind of looks like to me, it looks like a Three Dog Night like concert poster a little bit. Like it just looks so sick.
Yes.
So whoever is designing some of these inserts needs a raise, because they
I
are
agree.
absolutely sick.
Yeah, Topps needs to give them a lava lamp for their office as
Yeah,
a
definitely.
little quarterly bonus. No, I agree with you. And look, it's human nature to want the newest and the latest and greatest. And we're not
Right.
saying not to buy this product. We're just saying like if I had $500 to spend on cards, I might spend three of it on this and 200 on something else that's a little
Right.
more of a value. Whereas there was a time I would have spent it all on this product.
Mhm.
So, it's just a matter of being prudent and frugal. But, and hey, like we've been dogging the rookie class, but Jacob Wilson, that's a huge card. And like I
Yeah.
got his golden mirror out of series one, and I got his autograph out of tribute, and kind of a Jacob Wilson guy now because of that, and he's going to win Rookie of the Year. And so,
He should have
you
been on
know,
the cover, let's be honest.
oh,
He
I
should have been the cover
fully
boy.
agree.
He was robbed.
I fully agree. Yeah, I mean, Sasaki is not doing much compared to what Jacob Wilson's doing. I mean, not that Sasaki is bad, but I mean, it's all about the LA marketing, and they're trying to
Right.
sell product in Japan and so on and so forth.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, I think I think the Las Vegas A's will probably be a lot more marketable than the Oakland A's. And
I
right now,
yeah, I agree.
they're just the A's. They're not the anything A's. They're not even calling them the Sacramento A's. They're just the
Yeah.
A's. So I kind of get it, but I agree with you. Like he should have been on there. I think he's going to be a star for years to come. He's the son of a big leaguer. He's kind of the poor man's Bobby Witt Jr. He's
Right.
got the same
Right.
pedigree.
Hmm.
He's a great contact hitter, great eye. I think he's got a lot of long-term growth potential. This reminds me, we ought to do a video of like who are the 10 underrated rookies right now who we think, have a shot at being
Yeah.
superstars or shot at Hall
Yeah.
of Famers, like because there's quite a few out there right at the moment. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah,
And
these cards look amazing, and these cards look a lot better than 2023 Big League.
I agree.
And
Yeah.
an
Yep.
on-card chrome autograph is better than a sticker autograph. But I'm just saying, like, if you spend, $390 on 13 boxes of it, you're going to get 6.5 autographs. If you
Yeah.
spend $400 on this, you're going to get 3 autographs. So just be aware of the options that you have. And one thing I'm kind of proud of myself that I didn't order a hobby is because like it'll be 30 minutes of fun and then it's like, where's my $400? Whereas,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Exactly. Yeah. And that
spread.
and I love this aspect of it too, is that when you make the decision to maybe go for something that is a little bit lower, like tier, like a hobby instead of a jumbo, right? And maybe your hobby box isn't that great, but then you're like, hey, like I can take the money that I was going to spend on a
Hmm.
jumbo and I can get so many more things, or I can buy the card that I want, or a
Hmm.
card that really just jumps out at me. And it's a win-win. You get to open sealed product. We love ripping
Hmm.
packs here.
Hmm.
A lot of you guys out there love ripping packs as well. And just kind of being able to have that trade-off. Like, I opened a little bit of series 2 and I was like, hey, I'm done with the rest of the money that I was going to spend. I ended up buying the Cam Smith short print and the Matt Shaw short print for less than the price of a jumbo box.
Wow.
So I mean,
That's
that makes me pretty happy. I
totally.
think that's a great aspect too of just collecting, is being
Yeah.
able to rip and then, use your other funds for picking up singles. And it's an amazing singles market right now.
Oh my
It is
gosh.
it is the time to jump on the singles market train if you haven't
Dude,
already.
I got a Hunter Goodman on card auto from Topps Heritage off of
Mhm.
eBay the other day for I believe it was $3
Yeah,
shipped. Rookie
yeah,
auto. The guy's going to make the All-Star team for sure.
yeah.
He's on pace to hit about 28 home runs.
Mhm.
It's like, what is even happening that card was available?
Yeah.
I mean, that's nuts.
Yeah, it's great. And that's something that I love too, is being able to pick up singles and be like, wow, like I saved a bunch of money and I had exactly the card that I want, and
Yeah.
now I can go rip more because I'm a degenerate and I love ripping packs.
Well,
So
ripping is definitely more fun. You just never know what you're going to get. Like, I wouldn't go buy a Fernando Tatis Jr. signed jersey, but I'm
right,
pretty stoked that I
right.
pulled one.
Definitely.
So it's like it's tricky because it is
Mhm.
fun. But at the same time too, like I think the optimal thing is just to if you can do some older product that's a bargain, some brand new product just because it's brand new, and some singles. I
Right.
mean, that's the ultimate, right?
Definitely.
And just have fun, whatever it is that you're doing. And as always, ask help if you need help. If you're spending more money than you mean to,
Definitely.
um, you know, Debtors Anonymous is a thing, Gamblers Anonymous is a thing.
Yeah.
There's people who love you and want to help you
Yeah.
because,
And
people
and
do overdo it on this stuff.
and Birch Health has actually launched an addiction counseling program specifically for sports cards,
Wow.
which is really cool. So I'll include the links to that in the description as well if you want to look more into that, if you're
Please
interested,
do.
or if you want to reach out to them. But there's definitely so many great resources out there to use for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, and that's our whole thing is like it's always amazing to get a good hit, and it's always amazing to like pull a card that you can trade or pass down in the generations or whatever. But it is supposed to be fun, and if it starts not being fun, then that's
Exactly.
when you need to take a step back. I will say, speaking of big hits, and fans of the channel know this, 2019 Topps Chrome, I pulled a red Vladdy rookie auto out of 5,
Yeah.
and that's the best card I've ever pulled. And it was in 2019. I'd only been back in the hobby about a year. I didn't even really realize what I had. I mean, I knew how good he was, but I didn't. And like the guys at the shop were like, "Let's give you a one touch immediately," and like they wanted to put it on Facebook and everything. And um, immediately got a $2,000 offer for the card, which I did not take. And
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see. Last year, I was like, well, that was smart to not take that. This year, I'm kind of like, I'm not sure. And if he'd have signed with the Red Sox or Yankees, obviously that would have been nice for the value of that card. But he's a
Right.
lifelong Blue Jay. But at any rate, there's not much that's more collectible than a rookie auto
Right.
parallel of one of these guys. So if you were to get Wood or you were to get Wilson, you would be psyched out of your mind because it's weird. It's like, as I mentioned, the base card rookies tend to not be worth more in Chrome, but the autographs definitely are.
Oh yeah.
So it's just a matter
Definitely.
of what's your luck, I suppose.
Speaking of luck, that's a great intro to our next segment.
Let's go.
Never tell me the odds. We're going to dive into some of the odds, not all of them because there's too many, but I think that you're going to like this because we haven't brought up the golden logo men cards that are going to
Let's
be in
go.
this product. So last year, all of the award winners, MVP of NL and AL, the Cy Young, they all are wearing a gold logo man on the back of their jersey that is going into a Topps Chrome relic autograph card.
Don't forget one of the rookies of the year, but we don't have the other one because they wore this golden logo man in the first series of the year this year, and the reigning AL rookie of the year was not playing because he was injured. So there's
Right.
actually only 5 of these, even though there should be 6.
Right. Do you want to take a wild guess what the odds are for pulling this card?
Well, if there's only 5 of them in existence, I'm guessing they're going to print. Oh, how many packs are they even going to make? I mean, I'm going to guess it's one in between 500,000 and a million. So if it's one in a million, that would mean they made 5 million packs, which seems high even for this day and age. So I'm going to guess one in 500,000.
So according to my research, according to the odds that were placed on the odds sheet, it is 1 in
What?
2,721,120.
Holy cow.
That's what Topps has on the odds sheet.
One in
I,
that many packs.
I don't know if that's legitimately accurate or not. But that's what was on Topps official odds and checklist sheet for 2025 Topps Chrome.
If that's true, I mean, first of all, that card is filthy and it looks amazing. I hope you pull Judge and I pull Otani. But if that's true, that means they're going to make 13,605,600 packs because
That's
there's 5 of this card. And if that's true, there's 4 cards per pack still. Is that right?
I believe so. Yes.
If that's true, then that means they're going to print. Are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
54,422,400 singles for this
See,
product.
I feel like it's got to be lower.
That can't be right.
I feel like it's got to be lower.
Yeah, because that's too many cards. But still, if that's what you're finding, it means either they made a mistake or that's actually true.
We have okay, hang on.
Because if there's 5 of this card and it's one in every 2.7 million packs, then that means there's 5x that is how many packs there are.
721,120. Yeah, that's what it says. But then it has just the gold logo man relic. That one's 544,224, which sounds a lot more tangible. So we're getting autograph relics and just the relic itself.
So they're, well, let's see. So if
So
they,
take so everyone take my number, this initial 2 million number with a grain of salt.
well, but if they wore these jerseys for 3 days at the start of the season, that means there's a total of 15 of the logo men. So that gold logo men. So that would mean there would be 10 that are going out without autographs and 5 with autographs.
Yes.
Interesting.
Now, do you want to know some? I just came up with a couple random odds that I found on the interwebs that are better than this. Would you like to know some random things that are more likely to happen than you pulling a golden logo man?
Getting hit by lightning, getting killed in a plane crash, winning the lottery. Let's see. Kate Upton decides to leave Justin Verlander and move in with me and Mrs. Nomah. Uh, what
If
else?
if Nomah was to get on a pogo stick, his chances of going to the ER for a pogo stick related injury are 1 in 115,000. So, so
That's
you're
why I
more
never touch
likely.
him.
Yeah, don't get on a pogo stick. Also, if you get stung by a bee, the probability of you expiring from that is 1 in 54,000. So those are some interesting stats that are you have a better chance of hitting than the golden logo man, but
Okay,
someone's got to get it.
so quick digression. One of the candidates to be Mrs. Nomah back in the day, before the champion emerged, her mom. So in other words, my ex-girlfriend, her mom was dating a guy who died of a bee sting. He
Really?
was mowing his lawn, and this is weird. I've never heard of this, but there was like a beehive
Yeah,
underground,
underground.
which I have never heard of, but have you heard of this?
Yes.
Beehive underground. He's mowing the lawn. He upsets the bees. They swarm him, and he died.
That's
So that
terrible.
is a thing that can happen.
Yeah.
That is a thing that can happen. Yep,
Yeah, so
that's why you should never mow your lawn.
exactly. It keeps the property prices down for all your neighbors. So
Ah,
that's that's a
it was.
positive.
I don't mean to make light of this because he, by all accounts, is a very nice guy. They'd only been dating a short time, but I mean, it was like very shocking. Like, hey,
Yeah.
how are things going with your mom and Phil? Oh, he died. It's terrible.
Yeah,
But anyway,
bees.
that can happen.
Yeah, so be
Keep
careful. Be
keep your
careful when
wits
you're out
about
there.
you, folks.
Exactly.
If you live in Arizona like me and you have a swimming pool, the best thing to do is to just jump in the pool and stay underwater for as long as you possibly can,
Exactly.
and hope that they go away. That is considered to be like the best cure, is like find a body of water and like get as deep as you can for as long as you can, and then
They'll
they will just leave.
all the bees will form into like a Looney Tunes type fist and wait for you to, to surface. Exactly.
I love that. I didn't think young people like you knew about Looney Tunes.
Oh, I love Looney Tunes. It's what I grew up on. It's a great
Do,
show.
do they make cards of Looney Tunes?
They do. Upper Deck makes Looney Tune cards, believe it or not.
Whoa.
They actually released a set last year.
Wow. Have you PC'd any of that?
I haven't, no, but I might have to. Wile E. Coyote's my favorite.
Nice,
So they
dude.
got some Wile E. Coyote stuff. I might have to go on eBay and check it out.
Maybe you can find a Wile E. Coyote game used patch of
Yeah,
fur
exactly.
when he was chasing. We have Wile E. Coyotes on the golf course out by my house.
I bet we got them out here too.
They're the worst. One of them tried to eat one of our dogs the other day, actually. He like came right up while Mrs. Nomah was walking them and like took a nip. It was pretty wild.
Yeah, that is insane.
They're getting more aggressive.
Yeah.
Well, what else do we need to talk about with this product, my friend?
Well, so lastly, I just pulled up a few more of the odds just for the cards that I feel are most collectible. The while I was doing the research for this, the odds are actually better than last year. So you have better odds of pulling some of these parallels than you did last year.
Nice.
So like there's the green waves, the green ray waves, the lavas. We're gonna kind of skip those because I feel like the value is in like the true blues, the true
Mhm.
golds, kind of the old school parallels. So, to hit a base gold, you are going to 1 in 595 packs for hobby. Um, so, pretty stout odds for a
Mhm.
gold. Even for the teal refractor is 1 in 108. But last
That's
year
rough.
it was like 1 in 145 for the teal refractor. So the odds are getting a little bit better. The base card image variations, and this is where the real difference between hobby and jumbo starts to show, is 1 in 169 for hobby, and then jumbo is only 1 in 55.
Yep. I'm glad you're bringing this up because, this again is part of the value of going jumbo.
Because if you got the dough,
If you got the dough, go jumbo.
exactly.
And neither of us had the dough or wanted to
No,
invest the dough in this product.
no.
But hey, if I hit the lottery or like a big piece of business comes through that I'm not expecting, or well, I am expecting big pieces of business to come through
Right,
because I'm a positive person, I'm a manifester, but like, if I unexpectedly get a little windfall, I might jump in and grab one. You never know. But yeah, it's good that you're pointing this out because it's not just about the autographs.
right.
There's reasons why they're trying to entice you to get up to that $400 price point.
Right, definitely. And then we have a hobby exclusive, which is the award winners variation. So the award winners from last year, they will have an image variation that's only available in hobby. Now that is every 20, it looks like 24,738. So that's a SSSSSP.
That's what we
But
call a USP, ultra short print.
yeah, so that is hobby exclusive. Um, and then the blue refractor is 1 in 197 for hobby, 1 in 64 for jumbo. Um, so jumbo is showing why it is so expensive, but also I think that there is enough really cool inserts and case hits and SSPs and image variations that kind of pad the hobby product as well,
Hmm.
to kind of make up for that difference.
I
That's in my
agree.
personal opinion.
I agree. I mean, I think if you got the dough, go jumbo for
Yeah.
sure, whether you're getting it on the secondary market or not. And that's typically our advice. You're just guaranteed hits, you're guaranteed more hits. There's a reason why it's the premium price that it is. And also it's fine to not do that because we all collect differently.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So overall, I'm excited for this product. I'm gonna rip my one hobby box and enjoy it and make a video and have fun, and that's probably gonna be all. Because we do have a lot of exciting releases coming up. We got Topps Finest coming up. We have new WWE cards that
mhm.
Topps is releasing. Um, Lots of new sets and things like that. So I think this might be one of the sets that might get lost in a couple of years, and you might be able
Yep.
to pick this up for a decent price.
Yep.
But overall, I'm gonna say I'm probably like a 6 out of 10
Hmm.
excited on this
Hmm.
product. I feel like that's fair.
Yeah. I'd probably go 7 for me just because I do like all the different, excuse me, all the different designs. And I do like about Chrome that you've got the combination. You mentioned, who's being held out, but you're going to have James Wood, you're going to have Jacob Wilson, you're going to have Christian Campbell, like you mentioned.
Yep.
You're going to have Dylan Cruz. You're going to have Roki Sasaki. So you're going to
Mhm.
have a really nice blend of rookies in this product. I also tend to think that like last year's design and this year's design that I didn't like as much in a base product, I do think they look a lot better in Chrome.
Definitely.
So I think I'm about a 7. I mean, I'm excited. It's new cards. It's
Yeah.
like, pizza for dinner. Like what could be bad about it? So let's go.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now, are you going to rip on release day?
I am gonna rip on release day.
Okay, like I'm a
So
question mark on that because I have some out of town work in July that has not been booked yet. I don't know exactly when it will be, but I'm going to try to go on release day. So we'll have to see who does better here on this, my friend.
Definitely,
You
definitely. And then,
absolutely took me to the woodshed when it came to the Inception rip
yeah,
with your colored
Inception.
Elliot de la Cruz, and I got a Christian Scott, which granted was a number match, but nonetheless
Right.
not what we were looking for. Um, so yeah. So should I tell everybody before we go the big news in Hoosier land, or do you want to tell them?
Yeah, you can go ahead and let them know.
Okay, so boys and girls, first of all, thank you guys so much for watching, and we appreciate you all so much.
Always.
But Hoosier has become a very close friend. We talk all the time about cards. We text constantly. We have this show. We watch each other's channels. He's an awesome guy. And just please like the video, give a golf clap, go over and subscribe to Hoosier Pulls to help celebrate that he just became his family's first college graduate and he got accepted into graduate school. So a lot has happened in Hoosier's life. I'm super proud of you, my man, and just very excited for you and great job.
Oh, I appreciate that so much, buddy. It's been a long, difficult journey, but it's been worth it every bit of the way. And I appreciate, people like you, close friends and my wife for supporting me through this. And then of course people, you know, who subscribe to the channel, who know me and a little bit about my personal life and what I'm trying to pursue. It's just been so great having all that support around me. So truly from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate each and every one of you guys.
Right on. I appreciate each and every one of you as well. And thank you guys again so much for watching. Please make sure to sub to this channel and our channels. Let us know in the comments what you think about Topps Chrome and what your plans are with regards to this product. Tell us your intentions. Tell us how it goes. Tell us what happens. We can't wait to hear. And we're excited for this product. So thanks for clicking on this one. And until next time, everybody, keep
Keep on
on
ripping.
ripping. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.